Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Just let me know in the chat if the audio is working fine. Perfect. Cool, lovely. So let's get right into it. So, guys, welcome back to another webinar session. Before we start today, who here attended last week's one? What did you guys think about that? When we had Huda from Take a Lot, there was that interview session with her. What I really liked about that, what I really liked about that interview was that um, she is a perfect example for young aspiring entrepreneurs like yourselves, because she doesn't really have a formal qualification from a university, but she is probably one of the leading devs at Takealot. So it just shows what's possible if you just put the emphasis on the skills uh, rather than just on almost ceremonial qualifications and titles. Good, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. So today I want to do a little bit more of a practical session with you guys. I just want to introduce you to some tools that you can use as part of your learning journey, but also beyond that, when you get into development, um, and developing for clients, developing for yourself, whatever it is, there's some things that you can use, some tools that we use quite frequently that, I mean, I'll be honest, I can't live without some of these, that just makes your life as a developer so much easier, and just provides you with resources that allow you to overcome challenges a lot quicker. So I'm just going to share my screen with you, and we'll jump straight into that. Just let me know once it pops in for you guys. Okay, let me know if you guys can see that. Right, lovely. So this is a site called W3 Schools, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. I see some of you guys were on the Slack group were even talking about it. Now, what W3 Schools is, it's number one, it has a few tutorials that you can use, but more importantly, and how it's going to be more useful to you, is that it is a library of all of your HTML, your CSS, and later on your JavaScript functions. And so let's start with HTML, right? Since most of you guys are doing HTML. Head over to HTML and you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen in this bar, there is a breakdown of every single element that you have in HTML, or rather uh, the categories of those elements. So let's just say you're working with tables and you need a bit of a refresher on how something works. So there's a specific element of it that you're not sure of. Expand that element and you'll see it pops up the subcategories. And scrolling through this, it'll be a very brief rundown of everything related to HTML tables, including detailed descriptions of each of the elements. So let's go with something a little bit that has a bit more going on in it, right? Let's just say images. Quite common, everyone uses it, but let's just say you need a refresher on what each of these attributes do. So you scroll down, it'll give you an example of the syntax and how it should be written. And then it gives you a description of the attribute. So for example, the source attribute, what exactly does that mean and why is it important? the alt int attribute, that adds in alternate text in case the image doesn't load, or for people with uh, visual disabilities, they'll still be able to get an understanding of what you're trying to display, and so on and so forth. So this is just the HTML part of it. There's also CSS, and I think CSS is probably going to be way more helpful because HTML, once you learn the basics, it's pretty straightforward. But CSS, there is just so much going on. There's just so much going on that in the course you are doing with IT Varsity, we don't really get into everything because it's simply impossible. There's just so many different styling options you have with CSS. That's where a library like W3 Schools will come in handy. So if there's anything specific you're trying to do, you just come here, just like with others, and you can give it a go. And why I particularly love W3 Schools is because of this little try it yourself button. So you'll see this in all of their pages, the HTML, the CSS. Later on, when you start doing JavaScript, there's this try it yourself button. And what this allows you to do is literally just experiment with the stylings in the browser right there. So if you're getting yourself if you're just testing out something, you don't want to create a whole new project because that takes a bit of time. You don't really need to. You come here and you try it out. So let's just say, and you can make changes to this as well. So the background color, they have it as dark blue. Let's just say if we make it green, hit run, and you see on the right-hand side, it changes. And you can do this with any single page that on W3 School. So going back, talking about backgrounds, we can again go try it yourself. Background color is light blue. We can try it with yellow and run. So this is just a very simple example, but it should give you an example, an idea of what you can use W3 Schools to do. It's excellent for just quickly jumping in, giving yourself a recap on certain topics, or if you looking for ways to achieve a certain effect, come here, scroll through the library to find what you're looking for, jump into the try it yourself editor, experiment, get it right, and then translate it over to your project. And I highly recommend that you just jump in and just give it a go because it's an incredible tool for learning and expanding your understanding of concepts. Even if you already know those concepts, you understand them, it always helps to just play around with things and uh, see what you can do. Just experiment. That's the idea behind it. Okay, the next tool I want to talk about is one that you already know, you should be fairly familiar with, and that's ChatGPT. Um, for a developer, ChatGPT is now, I think, a pivotal tool that you should know how to use and know how to use well. It makes your life so much easier, uh, whether you're prototyping something or whether you are trying to find a bug, an error. And I'll give you some examples of how it can be used, right? So here's this is the Pine City Zoo project that you do, I think, in module 2 or module 1, part 2 of the course, rather. Um, and everything is going well for me so far, but there's some obvious errors, right? So number one, my header isn't showing up. My menu is at the top. And secondly, my koala's image isn't showing up. Um, So let's just pretend that I've been stuck on this for some time. And if you look at the actual code for this project, let's bring that across. It's quite a lengthy project, and it's going to take me some time to go through it and try to find the errors, right? Hypothetically speaking. So let's just use ChatGPT to make our life easier. So I know my koala image isn't showing. So instead of going through line by line and trying to find that error myself, I'm just going to copy this entire thing. I'm going to head back over to chat. And I'm just going to tell it what my problem is, right? It says, I'm on an HTML project. Um, my oops, koala image isn't working. And what you do is you paste your code directly into chat. Hit your enter key, and it'll tell you exactly what your error is. It seems like you have a typo in your HTML code instead of IGM. So you see that I had a small little typo that was preventing my code from working, and it tells me exactly where it is and what I can do to fix it. So I can just head back into VS Code, and there's that error. IMG is the right code. Hit your save, and that should fix that that error. So if we go back to our browser, hit the refresh, bada boom, fixed. Again, a very simple example, but it should give you a good idea of what it can be used for. Now, another error I had was this header not showing up. So again, I can just head over to chat, and it says, I'm working on an HTML project. Just describe it, or describe what you're trying to achieve. So here, I'm trying to get that banner to stick to the top of the screen, those top tabs. I'm trying to create a menu that sticks to this screen. What kind of CSS can I use to achieve this? You hit enter, and the HTML or the chat will give you some feedback and some advice on what you can do with. And the nice thing about chat is that it doesn't just pop out the code, it gives you detailed descriptions and explains exactly what it's doing. So as a learning tool, it's also very, very helpful. What you can also do, let's just say you don't understand a certain piece of code. What you can do is paste it into chat and ask it to explain what this uh, piece of CSS does. And chat will give you a detailed explanation of exactly what that piece of code does. And it'll give you some examples as well. So again, as a learning tool, very, very powerful. All good so far, guys? Let me know if you have any questions. I got the chat open on the side here, so if you have any questions at all, just pop them in. Now, how many of you guys so far, while learning, have been using chat? How many of you have used chat in your projects? There we are. Honestly, it's incredible, and I think at this point, every single developer should use it. Even for prototyping, if you have, like, let's just say you're trying to, and this is a practical example I had a while ago. I was trying to create a table. I had the information in a Word document, and I needed to translate that into an HTML table. And so it would have taken me some time to go and create the table and then copy and paste all of that information and paste it into the cells correctly. Uh, but it took me like 2 minutes to do because all I did was pasted the information in chat, told it that I'm trying to put this into an HTML table, and it popped out an entire HTML table for me, correctly formatted, and I just had to copy and paste that into my project, and saved me probably like a half an hour worth of work. So definitely use chat if you haven't already. I always use it to find errors. It's so helpful. Absolutely. For debugging your code, chat is amazing because with coding, sometimes the errors that get you stumped for the longest are the smallest ones. There's just a typo here or a missing closing tag somewhere, a misplaced bracket, a misplaced slash, whatever it is. It's the smallest things, and you can wreck your head on it for yeah, hours sometimes, depending on how big your or how long your files are, just to find that small little error. But now just paste it into chat and you'll get instant feedback of exactly where that that error is and saves you a whole bunch of time. Okay, and the final sites I want to show you is some sites to get royalty-free pictures. So the sites I like to use is pexels.com and pixabay.com. So when you're working on your projects and you need some high quality images to use, I always recommend using high quality images in your projects, because later on when you add these projects to your virtual portfolio and you invite uh, clients, potential employees to come and view your projects, you want to make sure it looks nice. And although the quality of the image doesn't necessarily reflect your skill as a coder, it just improves the aesthetic of your project, and that's really what matters to people sometimes. So use sites like Pixabay and Pexels to find high quality images for your project. So um, you come in here and you search, let's just say I'm working on the Pine City Mall project and I'm looking for pictures of a coffee shop because one of the stores is a coffee shop. So just come over here, search it up, and gives you a whole bunch of images. These images are completely free to use in your projects and they are extremely high quality as well. So yeah, definitely make use of this for your projects. It just improves the overall aesthetic, and yeah, you could get extra points or extra a higher score in your projects as well, because overall quality does matter later on, especially when you get into when you build up your experience and the projects get a little bit more impressive, a little bit more difficult, then the actual effort you put into improving the aesthetic of your projects, making sure your styling is right, making sure your images are a high quality, those do play a role. And in order to get the full marks for your project, you need to use some high quality pictures. So make sure you make use of these resources. There's a few others as well in case you can't find what you're looking for on these two. I know Unsplash is another very popular option, but Pixabay and Pexels should, between the two of them, you should find just about any type of image you're looking for. And if you want to get really specific, you could also use, we're running out of time, so I don't have time to display, to demo that one, but you can use something like Canva or DALL-E Mini to, which are AI tools to generate your own images or customize existing images. Maybe in a follow-up session like this, I'll show you how to use something like that. Cool. Any questions so far? Tiny mistakes alone is so difficult. Yeah, it definitely is. It's the smallest errors that always get you. Uh, and you'll be stuck on them for so long. And you always feel so silly when you eventually find them because it's just like this dot that wasn't in the right place or something like that. So guys, these are just some of the tools and resources you can use online, all of them completely free to use, but make your life a lot easier as a developer. So definitely check them out, get familiar with them, start using them. These are just some of them. There are so many more out there. Uh, yeah, Keenan, thank you for that. Adobe Firefly, which you can also use. Uh, yeah, I think we'll probably do another session like this in the future, just showing some of the other tools you can use as a developer or just to make things a lot easier for you. But I think that's about the time we have for today, so we'll leave it there. If you have any questions, if you aren't already on the Slack group, please make sure you join that. You can message myself, you can message the other IT varsity support staff, you can message your fellow students as well, just to share some ideas. If you're stuck with anything, let us know. If you have any questions, let me know. Or if you even if you have some suggestions that some of the other guys can benefit from, join in and share that with everyone. Please send me this recording as absolutely. Yeah, no problem. The recordings of all the webinars, even the previous ones, are on IT Varsity's YouTube channel. Um, you should just be able to search it up on YouTube, but I'll paste the link here. There we are. So that's the IT Varsity YouTube channel. All previous webinars are hosted there. So if you missed anything, I'll go back and get a recap. It's all available there. This one will be up, I think, by later today. So by this evening, it should be live. Okay, guys, let's leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the session, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.